Hey guys, it's Derek from Pacific Coast Auto in Japan here. This is an R33 Skyline GTR. This one here tuned by Tommykaira. Kind of a famous company from the Gran Turismo days. These cars, including this one, was in Gran Turismo. This one was bought from auction here in Japan, and we're going to be sending this one to the USA pretty soon. It's a 1995 February, and so it's going to stay here in Japan for a little bit, but with a car this special, it's worth the wait. And so I'll explain a little bit about the Tommykaira version of this car. And the R33 is legal from January of next year for the USA. Now, not a lot of them are at the auction that are exactly January, because that was the first month of production. But this one here is an excellent example of what I guess becomes available. This one comes up for auction, you got to jump on it. It is very unique, very excellent condition car. I'm just going to turn the engine off. And so this is going to be a post-purchase inspection video. The person who bought this car, I'm sorry, is probably not going to sell it. I know I wouldn't if this was my car, because if you sell something like this, when's the next chance you're going to have to get something else that's like it? Okay, now officially this is the Tommykaira R, is what they call this, which is an R33. Actually, for the GTR, they made an R version for the 32, 33, and 34. They only made 50 versions of the 33, just 50 of them. Now, this one has a little bit of a different history. It was officially made by the Tommykaira factory. It is not one of the numbered 50 units. And so while it shares the same pieces, it was just built by commission from them. And it could have been done maybe afterwards, maybe a few years after the original run. Somebody wanted to get one, so they brought an R33 to the factory, and then they put the goods into it. And so in terms of value, this is probably a little bit less than the numbered ones, but still a very cool car that it was built by them. Now, there are a couple more things to mention about that, and I will get to that when we get to the auction inspection sheet, but let's start the beginning of the inspection here. And so the RB26 engine, running condition is good. Have taken it for a test drive, found nothing wrong with it mechanically anywhere on the car. The engine is a little bit shaky. That might be the way that it's tuned, because it does have high lift camshafts. You can see it if you, if you open this up, you'll be able to see the high lift camshafts. I'm not going to show you that, or I'm going to burn my fingers. The regular version of this engine, of course, everyone knows, puts out 280 horsepower. The Tommykaira version, in the R version of the car, put out 420 horsepower, so about 140 extra horsepower over the standard 280. Having said that, this one isn't exactly a Tommykaira engine anymore. And once again, I'll get to that in a second. Anyways, we'll take a look. We got Tain adjustable suspension for dampening and height. Lovely BBS LM wheels, and love how they went with a 17 and more tire instead of the 18 and less tire, because this is much more what you would have seen at the time back in the mid-90s. And a nice expensive wheel. They're not in the best of condition, with some scrapes on the outside, you can see, but they suit the car. And upgraded calipers inside, that's larger than the standard GTR. And I think these are the GTR Brembo calipers, but they might not be. They might be an upsized one. And then these wheels, let's see, 9 inches wide, and then a plus 20 for the offset. These tires are 2011, so they've been on there for a while, but still good tread on them. Late model headlights swapped on. The earlier model ones don't look as good as these. And then full Tommykaira aero kit. I'll show you that later. I'm still going over the engine. I'm getting too excited here. Okay, Tommykaira strut tower brace. Okay, Tommykaira oil filler cap. Tommykaira intercooler painted in black with the logo on there. Huge oversized radiator with cool anodized overflow piping. Extra cool. Okay, I don't know if this is made by ARC, but there's an ARC cap on it. No rust in the strut towers. Being an R33, anyone who's bought one of these before, you know that's the weak point. They tend to rust in between. And having taken it for a drive, I think that 420 horsepower is about where the power is at this one. Tommykaira engine oil is needed. Now it says Tomita Factory. That's the name of Tommykaira. That's just the name of their shop, is Tomita Factory. And so they wouldn't have put this sticker on here had they not redone the internals of the engine. And the actual versions of the R, I don't think they got this gold cool valve cover, as you can see here. It's a stock intake plenum and stock individual throttle bodies. It's a GTR thing. Oil looks good, coolant looks good, and no issues there. Okay, gonna lower the hood. And if you want to drive one of these, but you don't have one of the 50 that exist, you can go play some Gran Turismo 2. Okay, quick look at the car with the hood down. And if you don't like R33s because you've been spending too much time on the internet, time to get off the internet and time for you to check one of these cars out, because they're just so lovely. And for some reason, they've become the Nickelback of cars in terms of people making fun of them, but they really actually like it. At least that's what I'm saying about Nickelback. And then I think with this aero kit on it, you get a better looking car as well, because you get more aggressive side skirts over there, you get a more aggressive front bumper, and a very aggressive rear wing, and a neatly aggressive rear bumper. Anyways, let's go over the auction inspection sheet, and this is going to be a bit of a long video. Sorry guys, a lot to go over. So, 1995, February, Skyline GTR. It's a BCN R33, that's the chassis code for the GTR. Auction rate 3.5 with interior B. Of course it's four-wheel drive, you people generally know that. It's rear-wheel drive until the front breaks loose, and then it's front-wheel drive with varying amounts of torque. And so it's a torque split, it's an early generation version of that. Cool, super cool. The R33 was the first car that I owned here in Japan. It wasn't one of these, it was an Impulse version of the car. Slower than this, but still one of my favorite cars. Original gunmetal. It's not the same color as the R32 that you always see in gunmetal. It's a darker version, kind of closer to charcoal or graphite, maybe you would call it. Don't know. Okay, so late model headlights, xenon headlights. I already explained that. Purchased from user. Tommykaira Aero and Recaro seats inside. Tommykaira steering wheel and shift knob. And oh my gosh, this is the world's best shift knob. And I'm going to explain, I guess, more when we get into the car. BBS wheels, teen adjustable suspension. Okay, and so in 1996, from 1996 until now, this, can I not read that? In 2006, the owner brought this car to Tomita factory. And they had Tomita factory do a complete refresh onto the car at that time. And so they basically commissioned the build. Now that's not cheap money. That's like 5 million yen or so to do that. The body kit alone is 1 million yen or $8,000. So like $40,000 or so on top of the price of the car to have them commission something like this, I imagine. Okay. Now the owner after that had changed it to an N1 block. Now the N1 is Nissan's racing block, so a stronger bottom end block. Also forged pistons are put in, high camshaft, and then it has turbos from the BNR 34 GTR, but the newer spec version of it, which has different turbos. Those will technically give you a little bit faster spool up. I still feel like it would be really nice to get some ball bearing turbos in here, because nowadays turbos spool up faster than they used to. But once you get used to the car, you can be most of the time in boost with this. It's running an HKS FCON V Pro computer and has boost controller in it. And when I took it out, it was boosting at 1.2 bar, which is, what, like 16 PSI? 17 PSI? Somewhere in there. Okay, interior dirty and wear. Headlight brackets have been repaired. Wheels scraped. Rear panel bent. That's underneath the rear bumper. Rear spoiler has paint peeling, various scratches, dents, and repairs. And then looking at the body here, we got a Y1 crack on the front bumper, crack on the windshield. The rest of the body's quite good, actually. Just minor A1, U1, U1, A1. If you want to know what that means, we got instructions on that on our website. Okay, so the crack on the windshield, very minor and out of the way. It's right here, right where my finger is. So you can see that's not very major. Nothing that really needs to be repaired or worried about. Okay, we'll do a once around here of the car. And so the bumpers have the plaques on them, being official Tommykaira. You can see the Tommykaira logo in the grille there. You got another one down here. It's a lower bumper than the standard GTR, including the deep lip that came in the late model. Cool decals on the side. Unfortunately, they're peeling a little bit. They're still readable, and you can't see the peeling unless you're really looking for it. Probably would be pretty easy to have a company remake those. Okay, so the back end here has super aggressive wing. It stands up much taller than the original wing on the car. And it's flared up at the sides, which is a unique look because a lot of times spoilers, you'll see them do the opposite, where they're flared up more in the center and then set down on the sides. I think it's cool looking though. And it's a big unit. Not only is it tall, but it's also long. And it comes up against the trunk here, kind of like the original spoiler does. But it's also wider. Roof paint is good, trunk paint is good, and then some peeling on this. You can see if you look closely, especially around the corners. Now, something like this could be refinished. That's what I would do if it were my car, and I wish it were my car, because I love 33s. Okay, real carbon fiber brake lights as well, and a big and noisy exhaust, which doesn't sound so noisy when you're driving it because of the turbos. Also, rear bumper here. This insert here is carbon, and it tucks away nicely, sort of like a diffuser style, but not completely. This is the official R from the Tommykaira R. It's funny to think that you could have bought this car as the original version, one of those 50, for less than it would cost to buy an R33 and then commission Tommykaira to do this to the car. But I guess if you really wanted one, and one of those 50 just weren't for sale. Okay, so these mirrors are also exclusive. You can see they're shaped like the original mirrors, except have like, instead of having a stand, they have this swooped design. The paint on them is bad, and so they're going to need to be repainted. Okay. Let's take this out. So door cards are pretty normal. The only thing that's different is that this little plastic piece here has been changed over to the Phase 2 version that doesn't peel. Originally this has a smooth rubberish finish that scratches as soon as you breathe on it. And you'll be able to see because the same finish is used on the dashboard. And it's like, you know, the R32 dashboard tends to warp. The R33 dashboard tends to have peeling problems. Now, I think Tommykaira made this car, they said in 2006. They also replaced the gauge set. And let me just show you this. The backing lights are burnt out for the most part. Oh, and the dashboard does that with the... How do you power off? Come on, Denon. Cool, super expensive Denon stereo. And it's making weird sounds. It's like an electrical interference or something. I don't know. The speaker there's having trouble. Oh, and that's not the original speaker design shape, is it? Anyways, back what I was saying. These are Tommykaira gauges. It shows 35,000 kilometers, but that's unknown mileage on this car. Let's see if we can get some focus. Come on. Here we go. So you can see the Tommykaira. So this car was built in 2006, 35,000 kilometers ago. And now we get to be quiet speakers. Okay, so Tommykaira steering wheel, excellent condition. Can't find one of these anymore. See the logo there? Tommykaira seats. The driver's one's broken. But they are Tommykaira seats, and they look good, and the stitching is good. But the driver's seat one, this piece here is broken. If you turn it, you won't get more or less tilt in the seat back. Now these are a standard Recaro seat. The only special thing is the Tommykaira stitching in it, and so you would be able to scavenge parts if you needed to, or maybe even just open it up and repair it yourself. Okay, so going in, we also get Tommykaira 3 gauges. Those ones there. and the shift knob. Let me talk about that for a sec. The shift knob is big and it's heavy, and it has like a tapered design to it. The tapered design feels good when you put your hand on it, but then it gives you something to hold on to when you're shifting. It feels so nice to shift at this style, which is how I naturally shift, because your thumb goes around this way and your fingers can go over the lip there, making it feel very secure. And then because it's heavy on the top and maybe a little bit higher than the standard one, it gives you a unique feeling when you're shifting it, where you put less effort into it when you're shifting. This is just so nice. The DC2 Integra does the same thing with their shift knob, and with making it heavy so that it feels better weighted, better counterbalanced. It gives you more feedback going through the gears. Very, very good. And I want this now for a race car, even though, you know, Tommykaira is kind of a Nissan thing. They even made their own cars, actually, but they didn't do well with that. Okay. So we have here a torque controller, so you can make it rear-wheel drive if you want, or you can set the amount of, or how soon the front torque comes in. This one here is the controller for the boost controller. This one here is the display for the boost controller. It shows you what your boost is, but you also have a boost gauge here. That one there, I don't know what that is. It's like some sort of computer thingy, don't know. And then the dashboard has a little bit of weird wear there. Doesn't smell bad inside the car. It actually smells quite nice. Good. GTR floor mats. These floor mats are from the R34 though. Sneaky. And Tommykaira floor mats underneath. I love that. It's like, I don't want to damage my Tommykaira floor mats because they're so valuable and cool. So instead, I'll put authentic GTR floor mats on top and they can take the damage. So the Tommykaira ones are kept well. Rear seat's the original R33 GTR. And then this one here, I believe that's the original for the R34 again. And then it looks like these back ones are official Tommykaira ones because they match the front ones in terms of the design. Some sort of a amp there in the back. Then we'll quickly go into the trunk here because I don't want to leave that out. Also, seatbelt loop for racing. You can do racing in this car. And they're doing drum practice in the school over there. Okay, so the R33 trunk is weirdly small. I don't know if you can see that. The battery is in the trunk, and it usually has a wall here, but the wall has been taken out so that you can fit this stretch tower brace. This part here is loose, and there's a second floor, because this part, I don't know what's going on. Anyways, there's sitting water down in there with some surface rust. Didn't want to check that when the car lands. I didn't see any corrosion when I poked my head in there, but I couldn't see everything because I couldn't take that liner piece out. Now, no rust around here. That's good news. And the rear spoiler says Tommykaira on it. That's good news. And the back says Tommykaira. You know, no getting away from what type of car this is. And there it is. Wow. What an excellent car. Sorry, Japan, we're stealing your Tommykairas. With an N1 block and NER turbos. I wonder how many NER turbos exist in the States, because the NER itself was a very rare version of the R34 GTR. We're taking your turbos. Okay, so if you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, thank you so much, everyone, for watching, and have a nice day.